Jr. today
Right.
on this.
If it wasn't Inauguration Day.
Day in which Martin Luther King
We would have
Jr.
been
In other words, will be open president.
If it wasn't Inauguration Day.
The third Monday of February.
We would have been.
In other words, will be open
Memorial
president.
Day, 4th of July.
Holiday,
Right.
the third Monday of February. Open Memorial Day, 4th of July. Please check our website, visitthecapitol.gov. Please check our website, visitthecapitol.gov. To see about operations for tomorrow. That's the sound of rifles. That's the sound of rifles. It is approaching 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is. I'm Ron Jack. Approaching 11 o'clock a.m. Emily Lalo is with us. Ron Jack. We are happy to present on behalf of Chase. Emily Lalo is with us. Inauguration. Happy to present President-elect Donald J. Trump. Sworn in. 60th inauguration. Robert Shortley. President-elect Donald J. Trump. Shortly in about another 45 minutes. Chief Justice Robert Shortley. Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Shortly in about another 45 minutes. Vice President, Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh will swear in Vice President-elect J.D. to observe, including the announcement of the Supreme Court Justice. Between that time, a lot to observe, including the announcement of the Supreme Court Justices. We have the luncheon that we're going to feature in National Statuary Hall, the Old House Chamber. We have the luncheon that we're going to feature in National Statuary Hall, the President's Room, Chamber, signing room.
There's a lot.
There's more than that.
And we're going to be with you for it all. There's a lot.
There's more than that.
And we're going to be with you for it all. Flew by.
2 hours. Have you ever given a tour 2 hours just like that?
Yes.
My goodness.
Flew by.
2 hours. Have you ever given a tour 2 hours?
Yes.
There's goodness.
Have you, Ron? I think you have.
Oh. So here's me started. I might do it after this broadcast. Oh. So you're feeling motivated. I might do it after this broadcast.
This is a great. I mean, this
Feeling
is something
motivated.
that we get to see a lot.
Yes.
We're looking at the right-hand side. This is a great. I mean, this is a view that we get to see a lot.
Yes.
Biggest library in the world.
The right-hand side,
And then on the other side,
Library
third
of
branch of
Congress,
government. Biggest library in the
Court.
world.
The Supreme Court
And then on
used
the
to be
other side,
in the
third
Capitol
branch
building.
of government. The
All
Supreme
the way
Court.
until
The Supreme
1935.
Court
That's hard to
used to
believe
be
in just
in the Capitol
another,
building.
what's the 11
All the way
years?
until 1935.
That's hard to believe in just
anniversary
another of the modern 11 years Supreme Court. You're going to hear the name President William Howard of the modern day Supreme Court. You're going to hear the name President William Howard Taft. A lot. You're going to hear that name a lot. Still with the architect. Speaking of President Taft, I think you mentioned this earlier. You're going to hear that name weather a lot. President Taft in 1909. Speaking of President Taft, I think you mentioned this earlier. 9.8 inches weather with President Taft in 1909.
They had a big blizzard.
9.8
and so they had to move
inches.
everything indoors. Yeah, they had a big blizzard, but so they had to move everything indoors. You know, the Supreme Court being sharing space with the Senate for so long. You know, the Supreme Court being it seems unbelievable space today, with the Senate for so long. You know, now they have their own building. It seems unbelievable
Emily, we're
today,
having a moment
but,
here in which we're about to observe
now they have
the
their own
departure.
building.
Emily, we're having a moment here in which we're about to observe the departure. Ah, yes. Well, right. The setup for the the setup for the departure is going on at the moment. The setup for the departure is going on at the moment. So you see Marine
Yep.
One.
So that is. There was a question as to whether or not the weather would be good
so
enough
that
today
is,
for Marine One to take off.
There was a question
But
as
it
to
has
whether or
been
not
cleared, so the weather would be good
we're
enough
happy
today
that it's
for
there,
Marine One to take off. But it
Oh.
has been cleared,
And
so
it sounds like we're taking
we're
our
happy that it's
seats
there.
in the rotunda.
I heard,
Oh.
and it sounds like we're taking our seats in the rotunda.
It's that time, 11
I
o'clock.
heard.
Certainly. That piano player. It's that time, 11 o'clock. I like to know that person's name. That piano player, I hope that person's name. I like to know that person's name. Beginning to see people, they were beginning
Going
to
around
see
shaking hands, talking to
people, the seriousness of the moment. They were
Ladies and
going around
gentlemen,
shaking hands,
At this
talking.
time, please be seated.
The seriousness of the moment is.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time,
This is a
please
wonderful
be
one.
seated.
This is a wonderful one. Lovely. We're going to preview some of the things we're going
to see in just a few minutes.
We have previews
And of course,
the
they'll
things
come
we're
on your
going
screen,
to
but
see
we're
in just a
looking
few
forward
minutes.
to, and of course, having a
they'll
call to
come on
order
your
screen, but we're looking forward to,
like we said, is
having a call to
head
order
of
by
JSIC,
joint
Klobuchar,
committee.
who
Also,
is the
invocation
head
by
of
JSIC, Cardinal
Joint Committee,
Dolan,
and Franklin Graham.
also invocation
by
we're also, I'm excited
Cardinal
to hear
Dolan
a little
and
opera.
Franklin Graham,
An opera singer
we're
from New
also,
York.
I'm excited to hear
a little
going to
opera singing
Well,
later. An opera
tenor,
singer
yes.
from New York named
It was,
Christopher Macchio.
speaking of opera singers, as
singing
well,
later.
Jesse Norman, tenor, yes. It was 1985. Speaking of opera singers, it was Jesse Norman in 1985.
Yep, and then
Great
country music star Carrie Underwood will be singing America the Beautiful. Country music star Carrie Underwood
lots of
will be singing America the Beautiful.
pomp and circumstance.
So very important
lots
events.
of pomp and circumstance,
but also
very
a lot of
important
good events.
I like that last shot from East Front and
For
showing
America, but also a lot
the
of good
preparation for the departure. I like that last shot from East Front. Again, this is showing just so many pieces. The preparation for the departure together. Again, this is
Oh, there we go.
just so many pieces. And that's a ceremony. That is
Oh, there we go.
a formal ceremony of the vice president. That's a ceremony. That is president. A formal ceremony of President Biden, Vice President Joe Biden. Excuse me, the president depart. President Biden, Dr. Joe Biden depart. We'll talk about this later. 50 years of service. That's something to. We'll talk about this later. Something to reflect on. Something.
On the radio station 104.3.
I'm just drawn to the Library of Congress in the background. I'm just drawn to the Library of Congress. I've heard in the background the Supreme Court is going to be arriving shortly. I've heard that the Supreme Court is going to be arriving. They have such a long track from across the street. They have such a long Capitol building.
Oh, they didn't walk, but it's long, lengthy.
To come to the Capitol
They didn't
building.
walk. Oh, they didn't walk, but it's long, lengthy.
Of
They
course,
didn't
we have
walk,
the
but it
old
is-
Supreme
you're
Court.
right.
We were talking about that a little bit earlier. On the first
Of
floor,
course, we have the
on
old
side of the
Supreme Court.
building. We get about that a little bit earlier. On the first
quite a
floor,
bit.
on the side of the building, we get to go in there
It's such a wonderful
quite a
building.
bit.
We'll talk about visiting again a little later. It's such a wonderful building. We'll talk about visiting again a little later.
There we go. Okay, there we go. So next should be the Supreme Court justices. So next
Emily,
should be
the
the Supreme Court
painting to our
justices.
left, Saratoga, New York. Emily, the painting to our left, Saratoga, New York. Just to the right. Those are wonderful. Who on earth is in the red coat? Jim John Burgon. Those are wonderful. Who was in the red coat? Right. General John Burgon. General O'Hare. We will get to those. Who was in the red coat? On the right. General O'Hare. We will get to those before it's the judiciary branch making appearance. Before it's the judiciary branch making this room dates back to its appearance.
All three branches of government here today. The legislative branch is hosting, the executive branch, the judicial branch.
We have volunteers that work with us that are here today. And you, those of you that are watching our YouTube broadcast, thank you for your patience. Music playing, that means just give it a second or two. It's hard to believe this. I believe it's the first Carter. Laying in state.
Right. Very different ceremony, a very solemn affair. Thousands of people came to give their condolences. And today we're celebrating our government. What we're supposed to do as a democracy.
Well stated. Well stated. Well stated. Well stated.
I was thinking so much of this about how here, we're on the East Coast, we're in Washington, D.C., but people came from literally all over the country to the yeah, in some cases from Britain, right? And how here, that people from all around the world watching this, of course, but that the populace of the world is supposed to represent the head of the and how here, so here we have people all around the world, every corner, all but that the populace of the world show this
Ladies and gentlemen, former Vice President, the Honorable Dan Quayle, accompanied by Mrs. Marilyn Quayle, former Vice President, the Honorable Dan Quayle, accompanied by Mrs. Marilyn Quayle, and the Honorable Michael Pence. Ladies and gentlemen, the 42nd President of the United States, the Honorable William J. Clinton, accompanied by the Honorable Hillary Rodham of the United States, the Honorable William J. Clinton, accompanied by the Honorable Hillary Rodham Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, the 43rd President of the United States, the Honorable George W. Bush, accompanied by Mrs. Laura President of the United States, the Honorable George W. Bush, accompanied by Mrs. Laura Bush.